Xiao Qiao, the younger of the famed Qiao sisters, was born into a world of beauty, grace, and quiet strength. Alongside her elder sister, De Qiao, she was admired for her elegance and charm, capturing the attention of men across the land. Yet, beneath her delicate appearance was a resilient spirit, a will forged by the turbulence of her time and destined to leave its mark on history. Her life was forever changed when she met Zhou Yu, the brilliant, charismatic strategist of Eastern Wu. Known as the beautiful general, Zhou Yu was captivated not only by her beauty but by the warmth and wisdom that radiated from her. Their marriage was an unusual union of love in a world often ruled by political arrangements. Together, they dreamed of peace and shared a bond that would be tested by the winds of war. In the early days of their marriage, Xiao Qiao found herself adapting to the life of a general's wife. Zhou Yu, though deeply devoted to her, was often called to the battlefield, leaving her to manage their household in his absence. The loneliness was profound, but Xiao Qiao bore it with quiet patience. She filled her days studying military tactics and strategies, striving to understand the complexities of war that occupied her husband's mind. In their rare moments together, Zhou Yu would share his strategies and visions for a peaceful Jiangdong, and Xiao Qiao would listen, offering insights that often surprised him. Her wisdom became his guiding star, a source of strength and clarity amid the chaos. But their love faced a grave challenge when the ambitious warlord Xiao Qiao set his sights on Eastern Wu. Xiao Qiao, who saw Zhou Yu as an obstacle to his conquest, devised a cunning plan to weaken him emotionally. He sent a message suggesting that Xiao Qiao would be better suited as his consort in Wei, a move intended to provoke Zhou Yu's anger and destabilize his focus. News of Xiao Qiao's brazen threat reached Xiao Qiao first. She felt a wave of fear, not for herself, but for what this could mean for Zhou Yu and Eastern Wu. The threat was real. Xiao Qiao's reach was vast, and his spies were everywhere. Xiao Qiao decided to act. She convened her loyal attendants, instructing them to remain vigilant and take extra precautions. She even donned a dagger beneath her robe, determined to protect herself and her household if necessary. Yet, despite her preparations, she knew that her strength alone would not be enough. When Zhou Yu returned and heard of Xiao Qiao's intentions, his initial reaction was one of unbridled rage. He vowed to march into Wei and bring Xiao Qiao's ambitions to an end once and for all. But Xiao Qiao, calm yet resolute, placed her hand on his arm, urging him to reconsider. She reminded him that their true power lay in patience and strategy, not reckless actions fueled by anger. Her words softened Zhou Yu's resolve, and together, they devised a plan to counter Xiao Qiao's schemes. Xiao Qiao's strength became a source of solace for Zhou Yu, allowing him to refocus his energies on what would become one of his greatest victories, the Battle of Red Cliffs. With Xiao Qiao's encouragement, Zhou Yu led the forces of Eastern Wu into battle, luring Xiao Qiao's massive fleet into a trap. On the day of the battle, Xiao Qiao stood on a hillside overlooking the river, watching the flames engulf Xiao Qiao's ships. As the wind carried the sounds of victory, she felt both pride and relief. Zhou Yu returned home victorious. His respect and love for her deepened by the quiet courage she had shown. Yet peace was fleeting, and Zhou Yu's ambition to protect and expand Wu's influence continued to drive him into new conflicts. Xiao Qiao's heart grew heavy as she watched him pour his soul into battle after battle, his body weakened by the toll of war. Despite her pleas for him to rest and consider the life they could still have together, Zhou Yu remained loyal to his vision. "When Wu is secure, we will live in peace," he would assure her, but she saw the strain in his eyes, the quiet resignation that their dreams of tranquility might remain unfulfilled. In one particularly harsh winter, Zhou Yu returned from a campaign with a fever that refused to subside. Xiao Qiao became his constant caretaker, spending sleepless nights preparing remedies, seeking advice from healers, and praying to the gods for his recovery. She would sit by his bedside, speaking of the future they had once envisioned, a life of simplicity, free from the shadows of war. Zhou Yu would listen, his once fiery spirit softened by her presence. But his health continued to decline. One evening, as snow fell gently outside their chamber, he took her hand and, with a faint smile, whispered his regrets for not being able to give her the life he had promised. When Zhou Yu's spirit left his body, Xiao Qiao felt a wave of sorrow unlike anything she had ever known. The man who had been her partner, her protector, and her greatest love was gone, leaving her with a heart full of memories and dreams unfulfilled. But even in her grief, she understood that Zhou Yu's legacy was not hers to mourn alone. It was hers to carry forward. She resolved to honor his memory by dedicating herself to Eastern Wu, becoming a silent force of wisdom and resilience within the Sun family. In the years that followed, Xiao Qiao's life took on a new purpose. Though she was no longer the radiant bride of Zhou Yu, she became a respected figure within Eastern Wu, providing guidance to the leaders and quietly influencing decisions that would shape the kingdom. She continued to study the military tactics Zhou Yu had taught her, becoming a strategist in her own right, advising on matters of defense and stability. Her presence became a symbol of endurance. Her story whispered among the people as a tale of love, loss, and resilience. Xiao Qiao often visited the gardens where she and Zhou Yu had once shared their dreams. Standing in the stillness of the trees, she would close her eyes and feel his presence, as if he were standing beside her, sharing in the peace they had both longed for. She would whisper to the wind, as if her words could reach him, speaking of the life they might have lived. In these quiet moments, she found a semblance of solace, holding onto the love that transcended even death. As Xiao Qiao aged, her role within Eastern Wu shifted, but her influence remained. She became a matriarchal figure, one whom younger women looked to for inspiration. They admired her grace and strength, her unwavering commitment to her husband's legacy, and the sacrifices she had made for the kingdom. Her story became part of Wu's heritage, a tale of a woman who, though she never wielded a sword, was as much a warrior as any soldier who had fought for Wu's survival. In her final years, Xiao Qiao withdrew from public life, retreating into the gardens that had once been her sanctuary. There, under the shade of ancient trees, she would recall the days of her youth, the laughter shared with Zhou Yu, and the quiet moments of understanding that had bound them together. Her legacy was not one of war or conquest, but of quiet strength, of love that endured beyond death, and of loyalty to a dream that had shaped the future of Eastern Wu. When Xiao Qiao finally passed, her life became a legend, her memory preserved in the hearts of the people. She was remembered not just as the beautiful wife of Zhou Yu, but as a figure of steadfast resilience, a woman who had borne the weight of a kingdom's hopes with grace. Her story became an enduring part of Wu's history, a reminder that true strength often lies in the silent sacrifices made for love, loyalty, and legacy.